Welcome to YouTube Bangla City SATV News. This is Faisal Faruqi. First with our headlines. Bangladesh made significant progress despite COVID pandemic, said Prime Minister. 9 individuals and 2 organizations received Independence Award. International Crimes Tribunal sentenced 2 persons, including former Jamaat MP Khalek Mandal, over 1971 war crimes today. NATO conference to held in Belgium. Forces increased near Ukraine border. Devastating results awaits, warns Russia. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said Bangladesh's development forged ahead despite the COVID pandemic that affected the global economy and created food shortage in many developed countries. She said this at the Independence Award 2022. The Premier then handed over the award to 9 individuals and 2 organizations in recognition of outstanding contribution of their respected fields. The award recipients received this recognition for their glorious and outstanding contributions to their respective fields. Each award recipient received a gold medal and certificate and a check of honorarium. The government has been giving these awards every since year 1977 on the occasion of Independence Day on March 26. International Crimes Tribunal 1 today sentenced 2 persons to death, including a former Jamaat-e-Islami lawmaker from Shatkhira for committing crimes against humanity during the Liberation War in 1971. The 3 members panel of the International Crimes Tribunal, led by Justice Shahinur Islam, delivered the verdict. Khalek was in the dock as the verdict was read out, but Rukunuzzaman is absconding. In 1971, Khalek served the anti-Bangladesh Parliamentary Force Razakar as an organizer in Shatkhira, while Rukunuzzaman was a member of the group. The tribunal said they were charged with 6 counts of war crimes, all of which were proved beyond a reasonable doubt by the prosecution. Khalek was implicated in a case filed in July 2009 for slaying 5 people in Shatkhira during the War of Liberation. Today was the last day of a 4-day public hearing on the increase in gas prices, which began on Monday at the BM Auditorium in Dhaka. A hearing on the proposed price of Jalalabad Gas Transmission and Distribution System Limited was held at Biam Bhavan in capital this morning. Experts and business community have expressed concerns over the rise in gas prices. Experts said the process of increasing the average by 116% per cubic meter will have a negative impact on public life, society and the economy. Meanwhile, the public hearing on the BERC's proposal to raise gas prices separately to the Energy Regulatory Commission of Distribution Companies ended today. The companies have proposed a 116 to 117% increase in gas prices. Due to the sudden rise of temperature, waterborne diseases is increasing in different areas, including the capital. In the last 24 hours, record number of diarrhea patients admitted to Mohakali Hospital of International Diarrhea Research Center, ICDDRB. ICDDRB said in the history of last 60 years, the number of such patients has not been seen before. A total of 1,262 diarrhea patients were admitted to the hospital in last 24 hours. Baharul Alam, head of the organization, said most patients are elderly. However, in this situation, he advised everyone to drink pure water as well as avoid roadside food. Members of the diplomatic corps have paid homage to Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, at Tungipara in Gopalganj today. The diplomats of 40 countries, led by Majid Halim of Morocco, acting Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, paid the homage by laying a wreath at Bangabandhu's grave. Later, State Minister for Foreign Affairs Shahrial Alam paid his respects on behalf of Bangladesh Foreign Ministry after the tribute. Ambassadors of different countries, including acting Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, signed the visitors' book at the Mausoleum complex. The ambassadors then visited Bangabandhu's ancestral home and library. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir accused Army League of corruption with the Independence Medal. He made the allegations at the discussions meeting at the National Press Club today. Mirza Fakhrul said former President Ziaur Rahman had introduced the Medal of Independence, but the Army League had defiled the medal. Fakhrul also said most of the award recipients are relatives of the Minister of the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, he mentioned that the Army League is telling the story of development by misleading the people through false propaganda. Viewers, we're taking a short break. Stay with you to Bangla City SATV News. Welcome back, and you're watching Bangla City SATV News. Now we bring international story updates. Today marks 1 month since the start of Russia's military operation in Ukraine. Russian forces were unable to capture too many Ukrainian cities in the face of the onslaught. Only the town of Gulshan has fallen. In addition, the Russian army continues to fire on the important Mariupol and Kharkiv. Nawaz Ibrahim Khan has more.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine has not been stopped by Western warnings, UN condemnation proposals and a series of financial sanctions. In just 1 month, millions of people have been displaced. More than 3.7 million Ukrainians have taken refuge in neighboring countries. One area after another is turning into rubble. Schools, hospitals, residential buildings have been destroyed. Russian forces continue to fight in the city of Mariupol and Kharkiv. Besides, shelling continues in Mariupol. The port city has already been razed to the ground by Russian aggression. Ukrainian forces are launching counterattacks on Russian forces. They have regained control of parts of the capital, Kiev. Residents of the town of Makharov in Kiev say they have been able to fly the Ukrainian flag again. According to Ukraine, 1,300 Ukrainians and 15,600 Russians have lost their lives in the war so far. Russia meanwhile says 500 Russians and 2,500 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed in 1 month. Meanwhile, an intelligence report from the British Ministry of Defense said that Russian troops are now advancing from north to south. Troops are trying to encircle eastern Ukraine. They say Russian forces are likely to be reorganized before a large-scale offense begins. The aftermath of the war has affected not only Ukraine but the whole world. The market for all kinds of food products including fuel oil, gas, wheat and maize has become volatile. Nawaz Ibrahim Khan, SATV International Desk.
Besides, NATO announced a doubling of its military presence near the Ukrainian border. The announcement by NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg came hours before President Joe Biden landed in Europe for an extraordinary strategy session. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that Britain would send 6,000 missiles consisting of anti-tank and high-explosive weapons and 25 million euros in financial aid to Ukraine's military. The United Kingdom will work with their allies to set up military and economic support to Ukraine as well as strengthen their defenses as they turn the tide in this fight, he said in a statement announcing the package on the eve of attending NATO and G7 summits. India's Supreme Court today declined a request for an early hearing on the petition challenging the Karnataka High Court's ruling that upheld a ban on wearing of hijabs inside educational institutions. The top court also did not give any specific date to hear the petitions. Earlier, too, the Apex Court had turned down urgent hearing on the petitions challenging the High Court verdict. The High Court ruled that wearing the hijab does not make up an essential religious practice in the Islamic faith. Madeleine Albright, first woman U.S. Secretary of State, dies at 84. Albright was the U.S. representative to the UN and Secretary of State under President Bill Clinton. U.S. President Joe Biden paid a tribute to Albright, saying she was a force of goodness, grace, decency and for freedom. Besides Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and UK Secretary of State Liz Truss also mourned the death of Madeleine Albright. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange married his long-term partner Stella inside a British high security prison on Wednesday. A small ceremony took place, attended by just 4 guests, 2 official witnesses and 2 guards. While leaving the embassy, he fathered 2 children with Morris, a lawyer more than a decade his junior, whom he met in 2011 when she started working on his legal firm. Assange suffered a blow earlier this month when he was denied permission to launch an appeal at Britain's Supreme Court against a decision to extradite him. Now, sports. Taskin Ahmed and Tamim Iqbal starred as Bangladesh sealed an historic series triumph with a 9-wicket win in the 3rd one-day international against South Africa at Supersport Park in Centurion on Wednesday. South Africa made a fast start with Janman Melan and Quinton de Kock putting on 46 for the first wicket inside 7 overs. But Taskin bowled superbly after off-spinner Mehdi Hassan made the first breakthrough by dismissing de Kock. Tassin took 5 wickets with South Africa defending a low total. Liton Das and Tamim took full advantage of the let-off, putting on 127 for the first wicket. Tamim, who hadn't scored an ODI 50 since his century against Zimbabwe in July last year, batted with intent. He cracked 87 of 82 balls. The captain, along with Shakib Al-Hassan, remained unbeaten when the team went past the finish line in just 26.3 overs. Before ending, we go through Bangla City SATV News headlines again. Bangladesh made significant progress despite COVID pandemic, said Prime Minister. 9 individuals and 2 organizations received Independence Award. International Crimes Tribunal sentenced 2 persons, including former Jamaat MP Khalek Mondal, over 1971 war crimes today. NATO conference to held in Belgium. Forces increase near Ukraine border. Devastating results awaits, warns Russia. You have been updated with Bangla City SATV News. To know more updates, please log on to www.satv.tv. Thank you for watching.